Hi, thank you for considering the tax law offices of David W. Klasing for your tax matter. First of all, I'd like to talk to you about why we're the best choice for your tax issues. Starting with myself, don't mean to brag, but I have a very rare set of credentials and unique experience. I'm simultaneously a tax attorney, I'm a CPA, I've earned a master's in tax along the way, and I consider myself an amateur sleep therapist. I help clients with the type of tax problems that keep them up at night. If you're not sleeping over a tax issue, I'm the right guy to get you sleeping like a baby. My firm handles federal, domestic, international, and California tax issues on a nationwide basis. We strive to be competitive with any CPA firm or tax law firm in the nation. We compete on price, we compete on service. We're going to service the heck out of you and charge a reasonable price in doing so. My proven dual credentials, my track record, my expertise, my training make myself and my firm the best choice for you with any tax issue in the United States amongst any competitor anywhere on the planet. I truly feel that way. I run with the best. First thing I want to make it clear to you is I'm not trying to fool anybody. All of my staff and myself work out of my Irvine, California location. I have 19,700 square feet of penthouse office space, very successful, 4 conference rooms. It's an amazing place. I wish all of you could come visit me here in my Irvine office. The reality is that I've discovered there's a need for my specialized services nationwide and actually internationally as well. And I make myself available. And here's my promise to you. Even though I'm admittedly operating out of Irvine, California, it will not cost you one dime more to use my firm than somebody right across the street. Why is that? I keep satellite offices all over the nation. We have 23 of them. My commitment to you with that satellite office is if we need to meet to prepare you for some sort of procedure with the IRS, an audit, a criminal tax investigation, if I need a place to meet with the IRS in such a way that it keeps them out of your office, keeps them out of your home, I will travel to any of my satellite locations and it won't cost you a dime for the travel time or any of the travel expenses for me or my staff. Here's another commitment. If you're located anywhere in California or in the southwestern United States,
I am an instrument-rated private pilot.
the company owns a Cirrus SR-22. That's the one that has the parachute that'll bring the whole plane down in the case of an emergency. No expense has been spared. I will travel to any of my satellite offices in the Southwest, piloting myself for the most part, unless the weather is bad. And I'll use commercial services to get to the East Coast, and none of that will be charged to you. My practice has been in existence for 15 years. I'm really proud of the fact that I started my practice out of 1 bedroom in my house 15 years ago, and I've grown it to what it is today. Today, we have clients all over California. We have clients all over the United States. We have clients all over the planet internationally. Lots of them we've never met, other than some sort of online relationship, telephone, email, video. There's lots of ways to communicate, and we don't need to sit down face to face to form a relationship, okay? With email, Dropbox, video meetings, telephone communication, it is no problem at all to service a client anywhere in the world. One of the things we do to facilitate efficient representation of clients, if at all possible, at the outset of your audit, it may be possible to move it to a local office. The advantage of that is a lot of the factors that may have gotten you chosen for audit in the first place may disappear in that move. The new auditor may know less than the original auditor. It is absolutely no problem at all if the IRS refuses to move the audit. I would commit to handle an audit or a criminal investigation anywhere it occurs on the planet. I have specialized education. I've been a member of the ABA Crim Tax section for over 15 years. I'm trained in representing clients facing criminal tax issues, whether it be in audit, where there's an underlying criminal issue, a criminal tax investigation, or you're actually being criminally prosecuted. I can represent you in that process as well. And I've done it, all right? It's not an experiment for me. I've attended the UCLA Tax Controversy Institute numerous times. I have specialized experience both in civil and criminal tax dispute resolution. I've been handling criminal issues for 15 years. I've been handling civil issues for 30 years, starting off as a CPA, then moving into being an attorney. I have a staff of CPAs and CPA candidates that I've personally trained, and I closely manage them. The firm has a stellar reputation, both with the public. You can check that out through my testimonials, through my AVO rating. I have a perfect 10 AVO rating. I've never had a claim against my Better Business Bureau rating, or with the taxing authorities themselves. The firm is seen as part of the solution, not part of the problem. In other words, we help clients get back into compliance. We do not help them fly under the radar while they cheat. Don't get that idea. We do not have anything to do with that. I'm not going to be in a jail cell next to you. You don't have to take my word for it. Go look at the testimonials on my website and see what my clients have had to say about me. We don't even fix the grammar errors in those. Both myself and my firm, including my of-counsel attorneys, have a winning track record. The firm has never lost in tax court. The firm specializes in high-risk audit representation. If you've cheated and you're under audit and you don't want to go to jail for that behavior, we are the firm to get you through that situation. Matter of fact, we have never had an audit client that we've represented go to jail. Not in the history of the firm. I've only had 2 of my clients in the 15-year history of the firm hit with a civil fraud penalty. The scary part about a civil fraud penalty, aside the fact that if you wind up owing $100,000 from the audit, they can hit you for $175,000 when they tack on the penalty. It's a 75% penalty. If they have the evidence to assert a civil fraud penalty, they also have the evidence to criminally prosecute. Really scary when they start talking civil fraud penalty. Only 2 in the 15-year history of the firm. We have a philosophy of avoiding litigation wherever possible. We always try and handle an issue at the lowest level of the IRS. Starting at the audit level, we'll settle it with the auditor. If we can't settle it with the auditor, we'll settle it with the auditor's manager. If we can't settle it there, we'll try and deal with it through a 30-day letter. If that doesn't work, we get a 90-day letter. We'll file a tax court petition. The most expensive part of tax court litigation is actually showing up and arguing in person and then having to follow up with written statements as to why you should win on the law and the facts. That's the expensive part. To tell you the truth, the IRS has a 98% settlement rate. If the law and the facts are on your side, we specialize in settling at appeals wherever possible, and I've only had to settle on the courthouse steps with Chief Counsel's office maybe a handful of times in my whole career. We are very adept at CP2000 defense. If you get a CP2000 notice saying that you owe taxes, a lot of times they haven't given you credit for the basis in the underlying items that got left off your return. A lot of times we can settle that, okay? We take on appeals all the time. If you've been through an audit and the auditor hands you an audit report and you really feel like your CPA, your tax representatives let you down, let us pick up the ball from there. A lot of times we can settle the issue without having to litigate. If we can't settle with appeals, a lot of times we'll settle with Chief Counsel's office on the courthouse steps. CPA botched your appeal, a lot of times that's when we pick up the case. When the CPA's totally screwed it up, we'll pick it up, we'll settle with Chief Counsel's office without actually having to step foot in tax court. I'd like to brag that a lot of my competitors think I'm an idiot for saying this, but we've never actually stepped foot in tax court. Why is that? I'm not afraid to go to tax court. I'm trained to be there. I would love to do that. The fact of the matter is, if you can't win your appeal either in front of an appeals officer or on the courthouse steps with Chief Counsel's office, you're probably not going to prevail when you go to tax court. One reason I've never lost is I don't actually go into tax court. Honest, ethical, and responsive. My firm strives to be the best tax law firm in the industry. I'm sorry, I'm not going to lie to you. Top shelf legal representation, tax planning, tax compliance, tax controversy representation is expensive. I spent my whole life in school, literally 18 years of my life getting educated. My staff has spent a lot of money on their education and their training. It's expensive. I have mouths to feed. In the end, all we have to sell you is our time and expertise. We bill by the hour. We don't do anything flat fee. But wherever possible, the work in my organization is done at the lowest applicable billing rate. If it can be done down at a bookkeeping rate at $150 an hour, we'll push it down there. If it can be done at a staff rate, we'll push it there. If it can be done at a manager rate, we'll push it there. I have the highest billing rate in the firm. I strive very strongly to keep my billing rate off of your job. Anywhere I can delegate and manage, it is much more efficient for my staff at a lower billing rate to do the heavy lifting than myself. But I come up with a strategy that wins, and then I manage my staff very closely to make sure the firm's objectives and yours are achieved. I keep my billing rate off your job by training staff, by supervising my staff, delegating to staff, all of this without sacrificing the quality control over your case. I have strived to train my staff to be efficient. If they're not efficient, they don't last. My firm bills weekly. Most firms bill monthly. The reason we bill weekly is we want you to give a good feel for what's being done on your case, by who, what billing rate, the progress. We want you to be in a position to complain if you're not happy with a bill before a week has gone by, much less a month. Not that we encourage clients to complain about our billing. Our billing rates are comparable to most CPA firms. Okay, high quality CPA firm, that's more like our rates. Not like most tax law firms. To tell you the truth, my competitors hate me for it. I remember going to the Crim Tax ABA seminar, being invited out to dinner, going around a circle sharing billing rates, and getting almost attacked at the table over billing what I do. Bottom line is, I'm not going after the same type of clients that my competitors are. I'm more interested in serving mom and pop than corporate America, even though I'm fully capable of dealing with both. The last thing I'm going to say is the way that most criminal tax representation firms perform is you've got the attorney, the criminal tax attorney, and then they'll bring in what's called a Covell accountant to do any of the accounting they need to function. I'm both. I'm an attorney and a CPA simultaneously. That's very rare. When you hire my firm, you get all of your services under one roof that's coordinated. I can tell you this, if you have to hire one tax attorney and one CPA, where do you think most of your billing is going to come from? Is those two communicating about your case. There's no arguing in my firm, okay? It's my way or the highway. I lay out the strategy. My very well-trained, efficient staff carries it out. You do not pay a separate attorney and CPA to argue with each other. There's no ego battles here. In the firm's history, I can't even count how many clients have had criminal tax exposure. It's, I cheated and I'm under audit. It's, my wife called me a tax cheat in open divorce court. The forensic accountant has discovered my tax fraud in my divorce. To, I was selling my business and I went to show the buyer my second set of books, my real numbers, and he's extorting me to take half of my asking price in exchange for not turning me over to the Criminal Investigation Division. Matter of fact, it's real important. If you commit tax fraud, don't brag about it. There's an IRS whistleblower program where someone who turns in your name can pick up 25 cents of a dollar, whatever the government squeezes out of your hide. Okay? Matter of fact, if you quit sleeping at night, I have a way to bring you back into compliance without facing criminal tax prosecution, even where you admit during that process you've been purposely cheating. I can still keep you out of jail, get you back in compliance, get you sleeping good at night. I've only had 2 of my clients go to jail. All right? That's amazing when you consider how many I've represented. Now, both of those clients were under criminal investigation by IRS CI at the time I picked them up. Now, to tell you the truth, if CI is looking at you, you have a 90% probability of going to jail if they finish that investigation. That's their conviction rate. Doesn't matter how good I am. Sometimes it's just a damage control mission. I have nearly 30 years of experience as a CPA. I have a staff of CPAs and specially trained CPA candidates that all work under the firm's attorney-client privilege and work product privilege, especially in criminal tax cases. Dave Klasing, Tax Attorney CPA. Thank you so much for the opportunity.